All right, welcome everybody. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart, both published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today's video is going to be why fantasy fans and fantasy writers should be reading romance novels. I know we've been doing a series about why fantasy fans and fantasy writers should be reading westerns, thrillers, mysteries, nonfiction, horror. Well, now we're at romance. Why should fantasy fans and writers be reading romance? Well, unless you're reading Diana Gabaldon's Outlander series, I really see no point. I mean, you shouldn't be reading romance. I guess that's the end of the video. Nah, just kidding. Just kidding. Actually, what can we learn from romance novels? I mean, Outlander it's romance wrapped in deep. It's just dripping with historical fiction, so we've got that. But then we've also got these other romances, kind of like Twilight, or God forbid, 50 Shades of Grey. Can we learn anything from these books? Can we enjoy them? As readers, can we learn anything from them as writers? Well, yes, we can. What we can learn from romance novels is about relationships, folks. These romance novels are a goldmine of information on relationships, both good and bad and abusive and toxic and everything in between. And if you're going to be a writer, you got to understand romance, sexuality, and relationships. If you are going to write characters that people are going to want to read about. So let's just take a look at some of these books. You know, we always review the covers, and I got some romance novels here, and we're going to take a look at the covers because the covers will teach us something. Oh, let's look at this. The Study in Seduction. That's right. The Study in Seduction. I mean, just look at these covers. Never seduce a scoundrel. Never seduce a scoundrel. That one fell on the floor. Maybe it belongs on the floor. I don't know. How to Woo a Reluctant Lady. I mean, that's probably true. That title right there is probably triggering people right now. How to Woo a Reluctant Lady. I mean, no means no, right? Does reluctance mean reluctance? I don't know. We're going to talk about these things. How to Never Seduce the Scoundrel. Oh, another controversial title. I mean, even Han Solo said, "You like me because I'm a scoundrel." Right? I mean, he said something like that. What's this one? The Study in Seduction. Oh, yeah. Pickup artists. The art of seduction, the pickup artist community. This is pickup artist community 101. You know, let's look at some of these other romance covers I've got here. Those probably aren't going to stay up. Look at this. Fires of Winter. Look at that cover. We're going to talk about some of the cover art later on. Look at that, Fires of Winter. I've looked through this book. This is actually about set in the 11th century Vikings, a romance back in the Viking. It's actually well written and well researched. Look at this one. Hearts of Flame. Hearts of Flame. It's a love story of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I don't know. I have no idea. But to me, that looks like Jesus. This lady is seducing Jesus Christ. I guess. I don't know. I don't know what this one's about. But anyway, what can we learn from this bizarre stuff? What can we possibly learn from this bizarre stuff? Let's just take Twilight. Let's just talk about Twilight for a second, folks. Bella Swan. Edward and Jacob and Bella Swan. Everybody says, oh, what horrible, the terrible characters. Well, let me tell you something, folks. Let me tell you something. It doesn't matter whether Stephanie Meyer wrote it or a man wrote it. If there's a female character in a book anywhere on the planet, there's going to be people bitching that person doesn't know how to write female characters. Nobody knows how to write female characters. Nobody can do it right. Oh, everybody fucks it up so bad. I mean, nobody writes female characters. But let me tell you something. Why you're wrong? Why all these? And it's usually just the hipsters It's the hipster crowd that like to piss on everything, right? They're the ones that have to criticize everything. The hipster doofuses just criticize everybody's writing just because so they can be hip. Nobody writes female characters right. Stephanie Meyer didn't do it. I didn't do it. Robert Jordan didn't do it. Nobody writes them good. Well, let me tell you why those opinions are all crap. Even the most inept writer on the planet can write a female character, and I guarantee you there is some female out there in the world that will relate to that character. Because people, whether it's Bella Swan, Edward, or Jacob, people, male and female, come in all shapes, sizes, and personality types. They all have different wants, desires, dreams, weaknesses, and strengths. And so no matter who it is that you write, whether it's Edward, and you think that's a bad male character, or Bella, that's a bad female character, no, there's someone out there that relates to that. And the proof is in the pudding, because those books were wildly popular. So people were relating to those characters. Even though the hipster doofuses would tell you that you're wrong, no, it's the hipster doofuses that are wrong. Just because a character doesn't act the way you would act in a situation, or doesn't react to a situation the way you would react to it, whether the character is male or female, just because they don't behave the exact way you want them to, doesn't mean that the writer wrote a shitty character. Male or female. Do you see what I'm saying? Just because the characters are not exactly like you doesn't mean they're shit characters. No. This is what we're trying to get. I'm building up a case here, people. I'm building up a case. The titles of these books. Just look at the titles we already went through. The Scoundrel. Never Seduce. What was it? Never Seduce. I think it was the one that fell. Never Seduce a Scoundrel. How to Woo a Reluctant Lady. A lot of these books, and we're going to talk about different types of relationships now, different types of romance. A lot of these books, in fact, most of them, are about a woman who meets a very dashing, good-looking man, dark, mysterious man, someone she can't figure out. And this guy's like a bad boy. He's like dark, mysterious. He's got the brooding eyes. He's got he's a scoundrel like Han Solo. And he pisses her off throughout the story. And he's kind of like the Mr. Darcy. It's like the Mr. Darcy syndrome, where he's just kind of an a-hole throughout, but yet she still yearns for him. There's like a part of him that she'll never have. And she has to finally kind of, change him and things like this. And every one of these romance novels is like that. And they're fantasies for a particular type of reader that wants that type of romance, that yearns for that type of romance. And, that's the way these are. But what I'm getting at here is not all romances are like that. No, not all romances are like that. Just look at real life. Just observe. Not only do you need to read these kind of books so you can understand what types of romances are out there, but you need to observe the people around you who are in relationships and see. I mean, everybody knows people that, oh my God, I can't believe they're still together. They don't get along at all. Or those people look so cute together. I mean, we've all seen all of that. There are super healthy relationships. There are super toxic and abusive relationships. And and everything in between. And as writers, we need to understand all of that. We need to understand all of that. And it's not, and then when we put that in our books, if we put that in our fantasy books, in our epic fantasies, those relationships will be dripping with realness and authenticity because they're not just made up, they're based off of reality, because there's so much out there. And I'm not just talking about straight relationships. I'm talking about trans relationships, bisexual, gay, lesbian. We need to incorporate all this. You need to be aware of all of this and how all of it can play out in your stories. You need to pick and choose what types of relationships you want in your story. Whether you want, hey, maybe over in this plot line, these people will be in a real healthy relationship. And then over here, maybe we'll have a lesbian couple. And down here, well, maybe we'll have an abusive husband and a wife situation. And it all can intermingle and play together. And that's what creates drama, folks. That's what creates drama. Or you can have no relationships. That's a possibility too. I mean, not every girl in every story needs a boyfriend, right? No, there's a lot of girls and people, there's a lot of men and women out there that are just like, they look at these romance novels and the toxicity of relationships around them, and they're just like, I don't want any fucking part of that. It's real, and you can put that kind of a character in your story, and it's okay. Not everybody needs to be boyfriend and girlfriend, man and wife, or hooking up. Even if they're asexual, you can have asexual characters. People that just don't care. People that are indifferent. It's all part of the study of romance novels, everything else. Read it all. Observe people. Observe what types of romances are out there. Create the drama in your own stories by what you've learned. Because I'm telling you, nothing creates drama in a story as much as interpersonal relationships, especially romantic relationships, especially sexual relationships. And I'll drop a bomb on you, love triangles. Oh, the hipster doofuses in the coffee shops, they hate to see a love triangle in any story. Oh my God, they'll get on their Goodreads and their Audible.com and their Amazon review sites, and they'll just be like, why does there have to be a love triangle in every book that I read? I'm so pissed off. These authors are lazy. No. Just because an author decides to put a love triangle in his book doesn't mean that he's lazy. It means, or he or she's lazy, it means that they understand what drama is. And let me tell you something, that kind of drama sells books. That's why they do it. Study people, folks. I don't care whether you're studying Dr. Phil. Watch Dr. Phil analyze a relationship on TV. Watch the pickup artists. Watch those grotesque shows of the pickup artists picking up women, because that's out there, folks. It's reality. Go to YouTube and watch great relationship coaches teach people how to be in relationships. Watch bad relationship coaches. I mean, go from the top of where everything's good, clear to the bottom. Go to the dregs of the internet where the MGTOW idiots hang out and listen to them just hate on women all the time. That's a reality. And those people can be in your stories, and they can create drama and conflict in your stories. Even in my fantasy books, it's a very patriarchal, male-dominated society, and a lot of the women get treated like crap in the story. And much like Game of Thrones or anything set in medieval times, and it's like you can do that to create drama, to create conflict, to create hardship for different people. A lot of people don't want to read about feudalism and how awful women were treated, and that's fine. You can have your opinions. You can have all that. It's there. It's reality, and we have to be real. We have to be real, man. I mean, hey, listen. There's bad characters, there's good characters, there's love triangles, there's people that don't want relationships, there's people that want relationships like in this. I mean, it runs the gamut. All types of people exist. That's what I'm trying to get at with this video, is you need to understand how humans interact. You need to understand that sexuality is a thing. Every one of these book covers has a dude on it that looks like he's ripped like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Every dude in here is described as, muscle bound and just bronze skinned and just sweat coming down off his chest, and the dark brooding eyes, the dark piercing eyes, the seductive eyes. I mean, every man in these books is described like that because it's a fantasy, it's a sexual fantasy. And it's just like in the Ian Fleming books with James Bond, where every woman that James Bond sees is described as being curvy and all this stuff, and there's a lot of male gaze in there, and that's because it's a sexual fantasy. It's a fantasy. We're all built like that, most of us are built like that, and it's just, in Mother Nature, it's Mother Nature, don't blame me. Mother Nature is a mad scientist, people. A mad scientist, people. And we best not fight it. We best not fight it. Yes. Hey, welcome to the Black Parade. That's all I gotta say. Welcome to the Black Parade. This is what I'm getting at. I hope I've been fair with everybody that's come this far along my Black Parade and into my chemical romance. And, the toxicity and the toxicity equals drama. And toxic relationships in stories equal drama. That's why they're so popular. That's why it's always a young lady and a scoundrel. It just, that's why these things are what they are. And if you want to switch that up in your own stories and have different types of relationships, by God, please do. Please do. And do it unapologetically. And let those hipster doofuses just get on their, oh, there's a relationship in this. Oh, there's a love triangle in this book. Oh, I better get on the internet and do shit all over the author for being a lazy motherfucker. No. No. And I will, and let me end with this. Even Jesus needs a little loving.